My wife said, "We should try again." I said, "You had your chance." I still remember the exact moment she walked into the coffee shop where I was waiting, latte in hand, the same place we used to come every Saturday before everything fell apart. She looked nervous, like a kid about to confess something, but also desperate. "We should try again," she said, her voice shaking slightly like she rehearsed it all day. I stared at her, a slow smile curling in one corner of my mouth. "You had your chance," I said, setting my coffee down and leaning back in my chair. She blinked, confused. What do you mean?" I could see the panic creep in. This was the same woman who left me for another guy 6 months ago, after swearing nothing would ever change, who hid texts, lied, and acted like I was the problem. I let her stew for a second, just long enough for her to realize I wasn't the same guy who'd beg for forgiveness. "You know what I mean," I said calmly, and I slid my phone across the table. She picked it up, her hands trembling. On the screen were screenshots of her texts to him, the other guy, planning dinners, movie nights, secret weekend trips. I even saved the receipts from the hotel bookings she thought I'd never noticed. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. Her voice cracked, panic giving way to the first hints of real fear. She looked around as if searching for an escape, but the entire coffee shop had become a silent witness to her undoing. I let her panic hang in the air. I'd spent weeks collecting everything, letting it build in my head until I knew I could finally flip the script. "See, you had your chance," I said again, this time softer, almost pitying. "You chose him over me. You lied, you cheated, and now you're trying to walk back in like nothing happened." Her eyes filled with tears, but I didn't move. I didn't need to. Karma was sitting right there on the table in my hand, and it was delicious. She reached for the phone, probably hoping to delete the evidence, but I pulled it back gently. "No," I said. "You live with your choices, and the truth, it's permanent." I stood up, buttoning my coat. She didn't even try to stop me. She just sat there, stunned, the weight of what she'd done finally crashing down. I walked out into the chilly afternoon, leaving her in that coffee shop, realizing too late that she couldn't just undo the past with a simple apology. Outside, I walked slower than I needed to, savoring the scene behind me. Her face twisted between shock, anger, and regret. I replayed every betrayal she'd done, the little lies, the avoidance, the casual cruelty, and how she thought she could casually walk back in. Every ounce of patience I'd had over the months evaporated. The revenge wasn't about malice. It was about the balance. The scales had to tip, and now they had. By the time she caught up to me on the street, I was already half a block away. She called my name, but I didn't look back. Every lie, every betrayal, it all ended right there. She wanted another chance, but the universe had already given her her lesson. Some things aren't worth a second try, and some people just learn too late. I felt a strange sense of peace. It wasn't happiness. It wasn't relief. It was satisfaction. The kind you get when you let life deal the cards, and someone else finally feels the sting of their own hand. I glanced back briefly and saw her slump onto a bench, phone clutched like a lifeline, hands shake, eyes hollowed by realization. I almost laughed, but didn't. Karma doesn't need applause. It only needs time. Sometimes the best revenge isn't loud. It isn't dramatic. It's quiet, controlled, and irreversible. And right now I was walking away from the mess she made with the satisfaction that she'd never pull the same stunt again.